everybody, it's your girl Tay, and I'm back again to talk about how I do my wash day routine. It is a beautiful day in Seattle and I feel like it's been a long week and I'm ready to start fresh. So I'm going to talk about why I do what I do, go through each step very quickly but in depth, and then give you some tips on how to make your curls last. This is the finished result. As you can see, I have great definition, great clumping. It's a natural curl and I actually didn't spend that much time on it. So let's jump straight into it. Alright, so the first step is to prep your curls for washing, so we need to detangle them and separate them out. So I like to use a conditioner to do that, so that if I run into any snags, my hair is more likely to not break and my fingers will glide through it a little bit more easily. I'm using just a generic conditioner because I'm about to wash it out in just a second, and just work from the bottom and work up to detangle. And if you run into any small knots or snags, make sure you take the time to work it out. I know it's gonna be a couple minutes of extra time, but it's better than cutting it out. Now if you have to cut it out, go ahead and do so, but it's kind of satisfying getting out the knots. Alright, next step is to wash your hair. Now my suggestion to you is to separate your hair into sections and scrub the scalp that way. I find if you just pour the shampoo or cleanser or whatever you're using just on top, you're just going to miss some spots in your scalp, you're going to dry out just one section of your hair, and you're not going to fully cleanse all over. So make sure you get everywhere and then rinse thoroughly. Now that you've cleansed and rinsed your hair and scalp, it is time for step 3, which is to condition and further detangle. But before we get into that, I want to make a quick note that you should use a cleanser that does not have any sulfates in them, because sulfates are surfactants that are used to remove dirt and oil. However, they're extremely drying and damaging to your hair, and I definitely recommend you avoid them. Now when you use a conditioner, make sure you avoid anything with silicones. The only thing that can take silicones out of your hair is a surfactant, and we don't want to create a vicious cycle. I like to put my hair in a two Bantu knots while I do my showering things, because it does take up to 15 minutes for your hair to fully absorb moisture. Time to shower! Alright, at this point you can go ahead and rinse out your conditioner. However, I'm going to leave mine in, and that's because I have a very high quality conditioner that has a lot of the same ingredients as the leave-in conditioners that I like to use. So it doesn't make sense for me to go ahead and rinse that out when it's going to do the same good to keep it in. Now I go ahead and separate my hair into sections because it makes it easier to work with, because I'm going to run a comb through it to help detangle and coat each strand and also encourage clumping. Now, I like to focus my leave-in conditioner on the top because it gets a lot of sun damage, and also on the ends just because it gets a lot of touch and elemental damage just by being in the elements. And I comb my hair with a medium tooth comb, and I've detangled really well, so this is coating each strand very well and allowing it to separate, but not separate the curls too much. Now if you have a tighter or looser curl, you might need a wider tooth or less wide tooth comb, but I would just recommend using smaller sections at a time, and then using a smaller tooth comb so that you can separate out those curls and get really great definition. As you can see here, I've put a little bit of gel, saturated but not too much, though you can see that it's starting to pull up a little bit, and then I just move that section out of the way and repeat on all other sections. So in each section, on top of the leave-in conditioner, I'm putting an aloe-based gel as well, and I'm combing that through. And the reason I'm putting an aloe-based gel is because aloe is a naturally sealing humectant. So it will help your hair retain bounce and curl definition and shine no matter how much moisture is in the air. And it's naturally occurring, so I really like that. Now, when you're letting your hair dry, I'm done right now. So I'm letting my hair air dry. And when you let your hair air dry, the hardest part is not to touch it because touching it causes frizz. So just be careful to stay hands-free. Alright everybody, as you can see, this is the result, and I know a lot of people have different problems. Frizz is a big one, that's the biggest one, and we talked a little bit about that, but another one is volume. And what I do is I just put my fingers in my hair and just shake at the roots. Another thing is during the drying process, I dump my head upside down and just trying to shake it around and just give it lots of air. You don't want to physically manage the curls in that, but you want to just give it some air so there's some separation at the roots, so it's not just like hanging down in like a big clump, and that's how you get your volume. I hope that makes sense. Also, if you're using a diffuser, same kind of thing. You know, you don't just want to just like diffuse like this. Diffuse upside down, diffuse from different angles so that there's lots of movement and, you know, there's separation, and you'll get that volume that you're looking for. Let me know if you have any other questions. I will read all of the comments and answer them, and I can make separate videos on, you know, what I do when I rinse out my product but I don't wash and things like that. So yeah, it's been real, guys. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!